and welcome to a very special episode on Smart Money. This is a part of our Outstanding Women in Finance series, and today I have with me someone who perhaps needs no introduction in the market. Amisha Vora of Prabhudas Lilladher is with us. She has completed over 35 years in the financial markets and now has perhaps completed a full circle. Recently, she acquired Prabhudas Lilladher and raised her stake in the group all the way to 90% plus. Amisha, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and congratulations on this move.
Thank you so much, and it's always a pleasure when you are in front of us.
How sweet, thank you. You know, it's been a long journey, right? I mean, we have interacted for over 15 years now. What has your biggest learning been in this journey? You've been through the ups, downs, and everything in between. What's your biggest learning?
So I'll tell you, of late, I feel that in the markets and also in the business, perseverance makes all the difference. Earlier, I used to say that there is no shortcut to hard work. Now I say that one needs to add, be it on your investments, be it in your business, perseverance. And I always proudly say that you can beat me in anything, but not in perseverance.
Okay, that's one thing that will stay with me. So tell us a little bit about the rationale behind this move. I mean, what made you take that step to acquire the group? And now what do you see as the vision for the group?
So frankly, this question continued to rattle in my mind quite a lot because I'm not at that 35, 40 age, also where I have a very long, time ahead. But I still feel that this will be the best decade for India. And also that this is one of the very well-respected brand. It is a national brand, as you might know that we are now present across 20 cities with our branches, but almost 2,000 plus franchisee represent us with clients. And from institutional side, of course, as you know, domestically and globally, we are very well covered. So I thought that this is the time when I need to really take this plunge and take it furthermore professional as well as independent. Right now it is ownership and management a bit merged. We were 4 partners looking after the business and also managing the business and owning. My idea is now that ownership is one aspect. Yes, I have consolidated, but here on the management will be further delegated with commensurate returns in terms of whether equity stakes or ESOPs, managing the growth.
Okay. You said that this is perhaps going to be the decade for India, right? How would you corroborate that with some data? Because we are seeing the equity cult come back in a big way now. Retail is back in a big way. We're virtually at all-time highs. Do you see this as a structural up move for the Indian markets?
I definitely feel so. One is, I will say, from the economy perspective, then is of course the savings habit perspective, and both has to go hand in hand in this journey. From economy perspective, I think the COVID, the way it injected and impacted the world and how smartly we navigated without over splurging is standing us apart. We always used to talk about our vision for Atmanirbharta, but now that is being actually seen, be it in defense, which is a big industry, be it in our other infrastructure aspects, including railways, and both these plus our reasonably good finances and China +1 and Europe +1 has kick-started our capital goods industry big time. Now, I think that with steady and strong banks, very good capital goods sector, and the combined vigilant view of our governments, not in terms of, coming back after businessmen for income tax and XYZ, but coming behind industry to support at the right time from any global headwinds. I think that's a sea change which has happened. And as the breadth of the sectors that participate in our growth, we always knew we are the best demographic country in the world. As the breadth of the sectors keep expanding and the opportunities to make money keeps expanding, second side you see, we withstood the entire FII selling onslaught and we are just standing tall.
Absolutely.
And that what has saved up till now to us is the SIP, the financialization habit which has happened. if you take a decade's time, we will be more than doubling our per capita. We will be the third largest economy. Not only that, the number of millionaires and billionaires will just shoot up. So be it wealth industry and be it all industry around it, fundraising, investment banking, M&A, corporate advisory, will all flourish according to me.
And this is also perhaps a great time to be a woman in financial services, right? Because, I mean, the name of our series is Outstanding Women in Finance. And earlier on, there were issues like the gender pay gap. It was harder for women to survive in this industry. But now a lot of that dialogue is taking place. How do you feel about it? And what would your advice be to that woman who's watching you right now and perhaps wants to either reach where you are or, you know, follow your footsteps?
See, recently even Mrs. Sitaraman was there in one of the events which was organized about women on board. And some of the statistics, not only in India, but globally, are also not very encouraging, so to say. Only 10 to 11% of the women represent boards, and less than that globally, and less than that in top management, CEO, CXO positions. But I think that it is a start which has happened. And as people, more people like you, who are younger, very well educated, and more people like me who do not hesitate, my, say, daughter-in-law going for an Oxford, the kind of encouragement which is going to get now on, we'll see that in next 10 to 15 years, the scene will completely change. We are in the midst. We have traveled a long distance from where I started my career. You know, despite being a chartered accountant, gold medalist throughout in school and college, my father used to tell me, "Jo jaya beta, matlab ki be careful. If your mother-in-law says, then you can work." So that was the mindset. And look at my mindset. Forget that I am professionally always busy, but I tell my daughter-in-law that if you want to be an IAS, try that. If you want to go to Oxford, try that. I'll be the first and last to support you.
To support you.
And I'm sure same you will do.
Absolutely.
So
the mindset is changing now.
Mindset is changing. It is just a question of time. Then we will forget about, you know, women empowerment. It will be all I say is women entrepreneurship.
You know, the one good thing about the stock market, right, is that gender pay gaps don't work here. The stock market is a level playing field for everyone.
Exactly.
You would agree with that, I'm sure. But do you think this whole gender pay gap issue still exists in 2022? I mean, of course, India is at the lowest ranking, you know, as far as the gender equality is concerned. But how do you feel about that in your peer set?
Particularly in finance sector, I'm sure you know many women who are heading, be it mutual fund, be it debt side of the businesses of any banks, or anywhere they are heading. I don't think the board would have considered that, you know, the CEO is a woman, so we will pay her 30% less, ye to maan jayegi. I don't think it's going to work like that. What rather I feel is that this generation, which is just having a run of almost 20, 25 years ahead of them, it's up to them to not give it up in between. They have to show equal sincerity. I don't think that gender gap leading to pay gap exists, be it in research, be it in wealth, be it in sales, funds management. In finance market, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, you know, I want to talk a little more about your investment style, because this is a market where it's become very hard to catch on to larger trends. Before you know it, trends are changing. You know, for 6 months, defense is doing well. For 6 months, PSU banks are doing well. How do you know what is the next sector, the big sector that will boom? What is your own style?
See, from investment perspective, yes, there are certain things which come and fade, they go away. But more important is, it has to be for a sustainable time. 3 to 5 years is the time when you can really unlock some wealth. Otherwise, you are trading. So for that, I think the golden principles which have worked over the cycles, and I think which still remain very true, is to identify businesses, or rather managements, in a combination where you see the potential of A, profit growth. So your market cap grows in line with profit growth, but where there is a possibility of re-rating. So there are businesses which go into an inflection cycle. For example, Gujarat Fluorochem. They were doing business, they were in the business for so long. As they started allocating capital to, say, specialty chemicals, which was leading to much higher ROE, much higher margins. So as the structure of the business changed to profit growth with enough free cash generation, operating free cash generation and ROE, the stock hugely re-rates. So the whole effort is to find out where there is profit growth and re-rating possibilities, then the combination becomes very deadly.
Okay, that's very interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a short commercial break. On the other side of the break, we'll resume our conversation with Amisha Vora as part of our Outstanding Women in Finance series. Don't go anywhere.